If you've been anywhere near the Guardian newspaper or indeed any social media this week, you'll have seen the news. London Marathon are apparently in advanced talks to make the 2027 race a 2-day, 100,000 runner weekend. They're calling it the Double London. So is this all about giving runners that special chance, that once in a lifetime opportunity to run London? Or is it just another race company looking to line the pockets of its directors? Let's find out. Here's the problem. Last year, over 1.1 million people applied to run the London Marathon via the lottery. 1.1 million people is an enormous amount, especially seeing as only 50,000 get in. That is a lot of rejection emails. And the day that London Marathon published the ballot results has been comically known now as London Marathon Rejection Day for quite a number of years. All you have to do is look at Facebook on that day to see the number of runners who feel dejected, hard done by and generally cheesed off at their increasingly slim chances of getting a place at London via the lottery system. So the plan as it stands is to essentially double the number of participants by having 50,000 runners run as usual on the Sunday, but then add an additional event with 50,000 runners on the Saturday. Furthermore, they're planning to change the elite women's race to Saturday and keep the elite men's race on the Sunday. Now this could actually be really amazing for women's running. Giving the elite female runners their own dedicated race is actually giving the fastest female marathon runners on the planet the platform they deserve. No split screens, no sharing the stage, just the best female runners with their own race. I think that would be absolutely awesome. As well as that, there's also the charity angle. London is already the biggest single-day fundraising event in the world. Doubling that, making it a whole weekend, could bring in north of £130 million. That is a huge sum of money that could transform the lives of millions of people via some valuable causes. It's not a number to be sniffed at, and that alone makes this idea really worth thinking about. But with over 1 million people applying last year, even with 100,000 places, it's still going to be tough to get in. That said, your chances do improve, and that's got to be a good thing. I still don't really understand though why they can't introduce a system whereby if somebody has already run the London Marathon, their chances aren't as good as somebody who's never run it before. Surely that's a system they could implement. By the way, if you're finding this video useful or interesting or entertaining, then please do consider subscribing to the channel. Whack that like button as well. And if you've got the hype button there, do that for us as well. That would be really appreciated. If you want to contribute a bit more to the channel, you can consider becoming a member from as little as £1 or $1 a month. Now, we could be very cynical about this, of course. London Marathon Events is a commercial company. They're out to make money. They have a full board of directors and just shy of 200 staff. They are not a charity, although the parent company is a registered charity. So is this just another corporate giant race company out to make money regardless of the environmental cost of all the travel, the chaos that's going to be caused around London on that weekend, and the loss of runners for smaller race companies that might have events on that weekend as well? If you live out on the course, Rotherhithe, Canary Wharf, Isle of Dogs, that's a big ask for residents to have a full weekend of disruption to cope with. And then of course there's the turnaround, clearing up 50,000 runners worth of gels, plastic bottles and general debris on a Saturday night to be ready again for Sunday morning, and then clearing it up again on Sunday. A logistical nightmare doubled. And then there's the volunteers, of course. No marathon, no race can be organised and run without volunteers, and London Marathon is one of the biggest. Thousands of volunteers, asking them to maybe double their commitment or getting double the number of volunteers in. Again, another logistical nightmare that London Marathon events will have to manage very well. One of the questions I keep asking myself, and I think it'll be really interesting to see what London Marathon do, is what do you do with the 2 days? Do you make them both identical so you have a mix of ballot, charity, GFA runners on both days? Or do you split them and maybe have the Saturday as a community, charity, big fun day event, and then keep the Sunday for your championship GFA runners, a more serious event? Personally, I think they would be wrong to do that. I think it's best to keep them both identical. What you don't want is to have runners thinking and feeling that they are at the B event, the kind of second class event, as it were. You want to make both events equally prestigious, equally elite, equally exciting. So I think they should have both events exactly the same. But I'd love to know what you think. Should they split it or should they keep both days the same? Is there a smarter way to do it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Now, as it stands, this is being talked about as a one-off only event in 2027. I get that. You test it out, you see if it works. But what if it does work? Then I think it becomes the standard. They have to do it again. They have to keep it going moving forward. And then it becomes the blueprint for every other oversubscribed major marathon in the world. New York, Chicago, Berlin, they all have the same oversubscribed problems. So going forward, how about a double New York, a double Berlin? If London can prove that a 100,000 runner weekend works without the city grinding to a halt, why would you go back? It's the blueprint, it's the way forward for marathons in the future. I think it could be really exciting. It makes the sport bigger, more accessible, and arguably more representative of the people who really want to run these events. And yes, before anyone says anything down in the comments, we have already thought of the idea of the double London. Marathon on the Saturday, marathon on the Sunday. Wouldn't that be amazing? But they'd never allow it. Ultimately, I think this could be absolutely awesome for runners around the world, particularly those in this country who've been desperate to run the London Marathon. Hugh Brasher and London Marathon events have been around doing this for many, many years, and companies are allowed to try and make money. If anyone can make this work successfully, effectively and efficiently, then London Marathon events can. The London Marathon was set up in 1981, in its own words, to show happiness and achievement in a troubled world. 100,000 runners running around the streets of London over a weekend feels like it could be exactly that. They haven't always got it right, and there are still issues to answer about logistics and environmental concerns. But the ambition is there and the ambition is right. But as always, let me know what you think down in the comments. If you got offered a place in the London Marathon for the Saturday rather than the Sunday, would you feel somehow that you were running in a lesser event, a B race? Or would you be just as excited that you were taking part in the London Marathon? Would that medal mean just as much to you? And if you applied for the London Marathon in 2027 with 50,000 more places available and still didn't get in, how much more annoyed would you be? Let me know down in the comments. If you'd like to watch the last time I ran the London Marathon in 2024, then click that link right there. I'll see you over there shortly. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel or even become a member if you'd like to contribute a little bit more. And I will see you guys on the start line next time. Bye bye.